Okay, hello everyone. This is Quentin. Not really a video person, but I do like music and I do like shopping online. This is the Rogue RLS-1, I think. RLS. Well, type in Rogue lap steel guitar, and this will be the one you find on Musician's Friend and other websites. $80. But I mean, it's a lap steel guitar, so the benefit of it is that it's a plank of wood, or in this case it might not actually be wood, it's like a plastic, but some kind of wood laminate with a really nice finish. This one's red. Can't really see it over camera. I watched lots of videos before I bought this one, but I mean, if you really look at it, it's got like, it's not just a red, it's got like a splotch, a red, some black, and some kind of glittery stuff in there, so it's a nice texture. The strings that do come with it are definitely a thinner gauge. Felt like maybe more like it came with a stock, more like a Telecaster kind of strings, and I really didn't feel confident enough at playing it when I first bought it to try to film anything with it, and I did try learning some of the Hawaiian tunings with the C6, the C-E-G, A-C-E, but being a very beginner, I immediately wanted to change tunings to something that felt a little more familiar. So I ended up trying to change to open D. The strings were definitely too loose for that, because again, they were more like Telecaster or Stratocaster strings. They were like 11s or 10s maybe, but I'm sorry, 9s or 8s. They were really thin on top. So we got some 15s on Amazon, and I think it's really good to just try to experiment with what tunings you like and don't like, and then getting the right strings based on that, and then definitely have some kind of nice guitar system to plug it into with a compressor, and you're going to want to turn down the mids, because when you're buying an $80 guitar, the pickups are going to be not as, they're not, if you buy an $80 pickup and replace the pickup, then you're fine, but you'll notice unless you're cutting holes, it only comes with a single coil, one single coil, and there's no name on there. It's just a loud, it hums. So if you can put maybe like a single coil humbucker in there, but I haven't really felt like it was necessary yet. Whoops, I'm not even in shot anymore. Hold on, did I move it? So, it sounds pretty good though. So it sounds pretty good. You can always replace the nut on there, I read, with a metal nut. It's got a plastic nut. It's got more of like a classical style tuning pegs. I replaced the strings, and those were actually the easiest strings I've ever changed. Maybe when you're putting it in, you're changing the strings, put like maybe 3 or 4 fingers if you got smaller hands. Just make sure you got slack on those strings when you're tuning it up. Just keep tension on it. Those were I just looked up a video on how to change strings in a classical guitar. All you have to do is just wind it up, get a string winder, but you can do it by hand. It's simple enough. It came with these legs, and the reviews make them sound like they're awful, like paint and stuff. I don't see any paint on here. It was clear, very high quality, actually kind of heavy. I was really surprised how heavy duty those legs are. And it's got these little things in the bottom that you screw them into at different angles, and I mean, I really don't understand using it, probably because I'm just sitting like this. But if you're actually sitting up in a chair, then you have these 3 adjustable legs in kind of a tripod fashion, and the threads on the inside, they are metal, but they are definitely not high quality metals, so if you're not being careful or conscientious when you're putting them in, you're going to thread them immediately. I've been gentle and careful, and I've almost wore the threads out. So, you know, I'm going to try to refrain from using these legs unless I happen to be gigging, which I don't know if I do that with this pickup, because it's a loud pickup. If you were doing that live on a stage, you definitely want to replace that single coil with a humbucker of some kind. And the bag that it came with that is awesome for $80. I feel like for just playing with friends, just for gigging around and having fun. It's cushioned, it's padded. There's like plastic or cardboard in here that kind of give it some firmness, but then there's some soft cushiness. There's a single strap on there. There's a handle here. There was a handle on top. There's two handles right here, and then a handle on top. Pretty good. And then a little spot right here in the front, just enough space where you can put a bar and an extra set of strings and a tuner. Couldn't really put any sheet music in there. And then a section for the legs in here. And those really handy. And if you're looking around, there's some other guitars, lap steels, that probably come more set up better. But as just a starter to learn on, and determine if this is even something that I want to learn, I feel like it was a really good introduction. So maybe, down the road I will, it has 2 screws on here for the nut. It's good to know. So if you just unscrew those, I imagine there's some kind of standard, with the width to the neck. You can replace the nut with a metal one, get more sustain. But honestly, when you're looking around as far as like a bass to start expanding on and improving on, there is some ones a little bit more like the 120, 150 range that were more visually appealing. I thought, I don't really like rectangles and squares, because this is very square, very rectangular. But it's good enough, and the more expensive ones didn't have that adjustable bridge, and I don't honestly know how important that is. I've never adjusted the bridge, but if you wanted to, you could, and that might be something to consider. I thought it sounds nice though with just the stock pickup. If you're just learning, you can now play around a little bit. So I think I'm done talking. Tunings with these strings. Oh, I even have them here. Oh, wow. So the ones I bought were the Electro Hawaiians, and if you want the exact gauge, it's 15, 18, 28, 38, 48, and then the thickest was 58. And the bottom 4 were wound, and the bottom 2, the high 2, were just, a straight core. Even though they're wound, I found there wasn't too much of a sliding sound. The Electro Hawaiian, these are like $8 on Amazon. It says it does open E tuning, which is E, B, E, G sharp, B, E, from lowest to highest. Open D, my favorite, D, A, D, F sharp, A, D. That's very easy going from standard tuning to open D. There's also open G, which is good if you're a dobro player, but if you're probably playing dobro, I don't understand why you would buy this unless it's going to be like a spare, like a project. That's GBD, GBD. And then if you still want to do Hawaiian music, you know, there's also a G6 Hawaiian tuning that it mentions on the back of this package, which is GBE, GBD. But most of the time when you're looking at videos, that's CEG, ACE. So you'll have to be careful with what strings you're buying. But the ones that were on there did sound okay. They were just really thin, and they actually broke one within a few days. But that was actually my fault because, you know, you're supposed to, if you're going from the C to a D tuning, you'd want to lower them. But honestly, you just want a new set of strings. So maybe just change the strings. And then on the amp settings, I just really didn't like the mids, so I just turned the mids all the way down. The lows, kind of want to boost the lows, have lots of highs, but of course, you know, just be careful on the muting. You want to make sure that your hand is on the bridge and that you're muting the strings, because if you have the highs sound great, but if you don't mute the strings properly, you just have a lot of feedback, and the bar touching the strings, kind of buzzing, kind of sounds really nasty over the amplifier. And then also I found, you know, this one has an amplifier simulator on here, but even with just normal effects, just make sure your pre-gain is as low as you can get it, your post-gain, get it all the way up there. Get a compressor if you can, because it's a little harsh, the single coil. It's a little noisy and there's a lot of buzz, but I mean, $80. It's just wow. Anyway, also people recommend getting a 90-degree jack, because if you get the one that's poking straight out and you're trying to, it just gets in the way. I feel like, honestly, this area right here is a little too cramped. I really wish there was more space over here, because I like to plant my pinky and then I put this here, so it's been kind of, often I find my hand up here and it blocks me from playing past a certain point, but I don't know. I mean, now I'm getting more into it. Maybe one day I'll invest more, but this is a great entry point. Anyways, maybe I won't post this. Doodles.